It's very difficult to listen to Justin Trudeau because of all the globalists, of all the World Economic Forum stooges. He's the worst. He's the most irritating. It's very difficult to listen to him. It makes you nauseous listening to him. But let's hear what he has to say here. Here he is speaking to the United Nations General Assembly. Looks like not that many people showed up for it either. He's not quite the international star that he used to be.
As we meet here in New York at the UN General Assembly for this Summit of the Future, we're at a global inflection point, faced with escalating instability undermining the very foundations of...
So inflection point, instability. What he means there is that his plans are failing. People are, Canadians are finally standing up and saying, hold on, your policies are ruining the country and ruining our lives. We don't like that anymore. That's the inflection point that he finds very dangerous.
The international order, beset by the increasingly dire costs of climate change, contending with rise...
The people in Canada are not concerned about the dire costs of climate change. They're concerned about the dire cost of feeding themselves or driving their car. You know, the fear-mongering is obviously starting to wear off at this point.
Rising inequality that is leaving the most vulnerable behind, plagued by the erosion of women's rights, LGBT plus rights.
Really, what's the evidence of that? Erosion of women's rights? What, in Canada? What erosion? What policy? What exactly has happened? Erosion of LGBT blah, blah, blah? What? Because a lot of parents are very concerned about absurd and very dangerous gender ideology being taught to their children? Is that an erosion of rights, really? I mean, the erosion of rights seems to be on the side of the parents, parental rights. That seems to be where the erosion is happening. But anyway, let's continue.
And Indigenous rights, and grappling with...
Again, what erosion of Indigenous rights? What erosion of Indigenous rights in Canada? These are just things they say, right? These are just tired old tropes that they throw, the tired old platitudes they throw out, that the Justin Trudeaus of the world throw out. They don't mean anything. None of their words mean anything. It's all nonsense. It's all just calculated. It's all just the magic spell. The magic spell is supposed to shroud your mind in confusion and make you just put your head down and go, okay, well, I don't want to be a nist or a phobe or something.
We have a choice. On the one hand, we can bury our heads in the sand, eschewing multilateralism in favor of short-sighted self-interest, or we can recognize that collectively we have a responsibility.
Well, what does he mean by that exactly? Bury our heads in the sand. Does that mean that, like, we don't want to start World War III as burying our heads in the sand? Probably, I guess so.
To set our differences aside, to confront the serious global challenges, and to deliver on a pact for the future that builds a more peaceful world, but also one where everyone, every generation, has a real and fair shot. In Canada,
well, you fucked that up in Canada. He's just about to talk about in Canada there. Well, he's fucked that up in Canada. What's a fair shot? Is that you force the working class and the middle class to subsidize the wages of temporary foreign workers in Canada, 750,000 of them, so that Tim Hortons can pay less to its staff? Is that what it is? Is that what opportunity is that bringing to Canada? Exactly. What hope for the future is that bringing to Canadians? Forcing them to subsidize foreigners taking their own jobs. That's a massive transfer of wealth upwards from the working class, from the middle class, upwards to the corporations who are receiving taxpayer dollars to pay their employees. 750,000 under Justin Trudeau. You know, it was happening under Harper too. 60,000. I think that's too many. Is that the opportunity? Is that Justin Trudeau's solution? Apparently.
As I travel across my country, Canadians of all walks of life.
He's probably not going to mention, as he travels across the country, Canadians from all walks of life hurl abuse at him. That's probably not what's coming up next.
But particularly young Canadians tell me that they're worried. They're worried about the state of the world and the future. But most importantly, they're worried about the very promise of Canada.
Because of you. Because of you. You have ruined it. You've put Canada in a population trap where the standard of living cannot rise because we've taken in too many people too quickly. GDP per capita has gone off a cliff in Canada. That's not good for young people. Housing being completely unaffordable. The dream of buying a house being completely out of the grasp of young Canadians. That's all your fault. That's all caused by your policies, by your insane mass migration policies. Guess he's not going to mention that, though.
Promise that if you work hard, you can do better than the generations that preceded you.
No, if you work hard, Trudeau will take your money and give it to Tim Hortons so that they can pay less to their workers. That's the promise. That's the promise that this is what he's actually doing. Again, he doesn't mention it, though.
That promise is slipping out of reach. So as a government, we are stepping up. The solution to anxiety and angst is not to deceive and deflect, but to take action. We know that confident, successful countries invest in their citizens, in their workers, in their middle class, in national $10 a day childcare that saves families.
Oh, it's the same old shit. You know what they don't do? They don't double the national debt. They don't double the national debt. They don't make it so that you're paying more money to service the interest on the national debt that you've racked up than you are on healthcare. They don't do that. This is what he likes to talk about investment all the time. These investments are not working out.
Money while ensuring women can choose the best path for themselves. In nutritious school meals, so our kids can focus on learning and growing. In an ambitious...
Oh, yeah. So now they're spending money to invest in school meals for children because the parents can't afford to feed them anymore because of him.
In a growth and industrial strategy that creates good-paying, community-building, middle-class jobs, all while fighting climate change. These are choices that deliver on the promise of Canada for every generation.
Except none of that's happened. And we haven't fought climate change because there's nothing we can do to fight climate change. Canada has no ability whatsoever to change the global climate at all. There's just simply not enough of us. China might. Maybe China could change the global climate. They produce 28% of the emissions. Canada produces 2%. And believe me, if we stop producing oil, not a drop less of oil will be used in the world. It will be gotten somewhere else. This is all just a fantasy, a pipe dream. The carbon tax is just an excuse to extort ever more money from the Canadian public to be thrown away by this insane, reckless, catastrophic Trudeau government.
Choices reflect a commitment to investing in our people and in our future. But also... Stop investing. Stop investing. None of it's worked. Nothing is better in Canada. There's nothing that's better in Canada now. You've doubled the national debt. And it keeps continuing. It keeps going higher and higher. Again, we spend more on interest serving the national debt than we do on healthcare now. Stop investing. You're a terrible investor. You're really bad at investing. Just stop. Don't do anything now. Do nothing. That's going to be better. So, a commitment to tackle global problems that we all share.
Yeah, we got enough problems at home. Just stop doing anything, right? You like the spotlight, right? You like getting in front of the camera. Just do that. Maybe just start doing fashion shows or something in Parliament, right? You'd probably be happier doing that. Maybe you could do tuck-friendly swimsuit modeling. You just put like a catwalk in Parliament building. Just do that. That'd be better. It certainly wouldn't be any more embarrassing than you are already. Do nothing else. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.